Hey everyone, what's up? This is Scott Witebski, the Frozen Gamer, on a surprisingly warm 45-degree day in December in Minnesota. Like, what the heck is going on? The year 2023 is coming to an end, and because I have a board game addiction problem, I'm already thinking about games of 2024, and here are 10 of them that I'm most excited about. Now, this does not include games I've already backed, pre-ordered, P500'd, and these are just games that I'm super excited about but have nothing to do with them financially at this point. So I'm going to start off with 3 honorable mentions. These are honorable mentions because they are very niche games, and because they're very niche games, I may actually get these over some of the games in my top 10. I'm going to go over them really briefly here. The first one is called The 6 of 8 by Carol LaGros, published by New Mill Industries. This is a trick-taking game, which is niche, but also very popular right now. This one has got me on the theme alone. It is about the 6 wives of Henry VIII. Each wife has their own suit in the game, and I just love card games. It's kind of my history going before I got into the hobby. And I like history, even though this is super, super, super loosely themed. I'm all in on it. 6 of 8 by Carol LaGros. So the next game is Conserve Us by Scott Alms, and this one's niche because it's a solo-only game. I play lots of solo games after my family goes to bed, and when Scott Alms is involved in a solo game, I'm definitely going to be paying attention. Plus, I have got to support my fellow Scots, where our name's getting kind of old right now, so we got to kind of support each other and boost our self-esteems. No, but this game looks really good. There isn't a whole lot out on it yet, but solo game Scott Alms on my list. Number 3 of my honorable mentions is Night Witches. It's a war game by Liz Davidson of Beyond Solitaire and David Thompson, who you probably know from the Undaunted games. It is being published by Fort Circle Games, who just did Votes for Women. Fort Circle Games does amazing productions from what I've seen. I haven't played any of their games, but does amazing production value from what I've seen online. And Liz Davidson is amazing, amazing, amazing. If you don't follow Beyond Solitaire, make sure you do. And David Thompson obviously does great work. I'm hesitant on it because it is a war game. I'd like to play war games, but the rule books tend to kind of blow my mind, even though in like a not good way, even though I've played probably more complex games than lots of the war games out there, than at least some of the war games. And I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm super excited because of who is involved in this game, Night Witches. Here we go with my top 10 games of 2024 that I'm looking forward to. Now, things could have changed from what I've read on Board Game Geek, and I might be describing them wrong, but here they go. So number 10 for me is Floe, spelled F-L-O-E. It's by Henry Audubon, who did Parks, and Pika Games is publishing it. And what got me on this game is, first of all, the art by Andrew Bosley. You got me, Andrew. You got me. That's like the main reason I want this game is for the art. It has these little animal-like creatures, and they're going through icebergs, and exploring them is like the premise of the game. And there's some tile laying aspects to it. I think you expand the icebergs, and I always loved tile laying. Carcassonne was what got me into the hobby back in 2010. And yeah, man, the art is adorable. These little animals on icebergs. And I'm from Minnesota. I like the cold. I don't like the cold. I don't know why I live here. My number 9 game I'm excited for 2024 is called Restart by Vangelis Efthymiou and Antonius Yiannopoulos. The art, again, gorgeous, by Evan Scale. And they're all new to the board gaming design realm of gaming. And it's being published by Teetotum Game Studios. Now, I've never played Anachrony, so I've never played a time-traveling game before. I know there's some other ones out there, but this would be my first go-to in time-traveling games, and there is tableau building, and it goes with your current, like, older self going back in time, and then you'll have also your younger self back in time that's already living currently back in time. Man, this is getting confusing already, just trying to explain it. But what really has me hooked on this, and if they can pull this off, it's going to be amazing. What happens is what you do in the past has a time continuum effect for what happens in the forward, and it chain affects the other players, not yourself, according to BGG, the other players in a beneficial way. It doesn't harm them what you do in the past, but it actually benefits the other players. I think that's a really, really cool game design concept. And if they can make that work, this game is going to be super, super cool. It already looks gorgeous. That is Restart, number 9. So number 8 for me is a game called Philharmonics by Faris Suhaimi out of Malaysia. And the artist is Daniel Kunha. Sorry, Daniel. And Arcana Games is publishing it. So Daniel has really impressed me. So far, he's done 2 cover designs, I believe. And both of them I have fallen in love with. One of them is Philharmonics. The other one is also being published by Arcana Games, and it's Pest. Not on my list, but that cover just amazing. And but besides the art on this one, what has me is, one, it's a worker placement game with action points. I like both of those. But it's the theme. This is a game about space. It's a sci-fi game. I'm not huge into sci-fi. I like some sci-fi movies. I don't really read sci-fi books, but I tend to like board games that are based out of science fiction. And it's about music. It's a space orchestra that tours the galaxy. And I was a music major the first 2 years of my collegiate life. And music's always been a huge part of my life. And it has a big impact of who I am now. So there's not many games about music, and this is one of them that's coming out, and I'm really excited about it. It looks absolutely gorgeous as well. So number 8, Philharmonics. So number 7 for me is Cthulhu Dark Providence by Martin Wallace and Travis Chance from CMON's jumped on board. It's being published by CMON. And this is a remake of a game that came out a handful of years ago called A Study in Emerald. And I have a little history of that game. I have played A Study in Emerald first edition. And so when I moved back from New York to Minnesota, I wanted to play this game. It sounded really exciting. And in the infancy of Tabletop Simulator, I got my old game group to play it. Kind of fell flat for us, at least for me. And I was so disappointed because I was so excited about this game. And then we never played it again. And I always wanted to buy it still. And I never bought it. And then it became a fortune to buy. And it's always kind of been a grill game for me after that. And now I get a chance again with Cthulhu Dark Providence. I'm just excited that I get a chance to get this game to the table again and give it another chance, because I'm hoping that the game is very variable of what can happen in the game. And I'm hoping our game just kind of had one of those outlier bad games, and most of them will be good instead, because I love the idea of the game. There's videos out right now that just came out from Game Night, and no, the Dice Tower played it in their Winter Spectacular. I haven't watched either of them yet. I will probably take a look at them. Definitely check them out. You'll see how the gameplay is in person from watching those. So that's it. Number 7, Cthulhu Dark Providence. So recently I made a geek list of all the designers' games that I've played at least 3 games or more from. And I never really realized how much I like Bruno Cathala games. Cathala, don't know how he pronounces it. But I played a handful of them, like 6 or 7 of them, and I've liked every single one of his games. And so now I think he's probably one of my favorite designers. And there was a game that came out back in 2009, right before I got into gaming, called Cyclades. And I always wanted to play it, and I never did. And now, coming out this year, supposedly in 2024, from Open Sesame Games, is Cyclades, the Legendary Edition. And this is my number, 7? Is it 7? No, 6. My number 6 is Cyclades Legendary Edition. And I'm just excited, so excited about the game. I know there's some area majority, I believe, in the game, if I remember correctly, from over a decade ago. And I love the theme of Greek mythology. And again, I'm super excited to get the chance to play this game. Number 6, Cyclades, the Legendary Edition. So back in the 2010s, it seemed like Stefan Feld was like the rock star board game designer. Like, he was the epitome of board game design. And I think he's just become so big that people kind of poo-poo on him every once in a while now, his designs. Not this guy. To be fair, I've only played 3 of his games. I've played Bruges, which is one of my all-time favorite games, Trajan, which breaks my brain in like the best way possible, and Castles of Burgundy, which I think we all have to agree is one of the smoothest Euros ever designed. Recently, he's been doing his Queen game remakes. He's got a new one coming out in 2024, and it's not that. It's by a different publisher, Deep Print Games, And it's a Civ style game, which is different than like the traditional Civ builder, I think. And there's dice involved. So Stefan Feld mixed with dice, which I tend to like throwing dice in games. So those two mixed together puts Civolution by Stefan Feld as my number 5 game that I'm looking forward to in 2024. So my number 5 game is by Ryan Courtney, who designed Pipeline, which was a big hit game from a while back, and recently Trailblazers. It's being published by Bitewing Games, and it's called Spectral. So I found out about this game by reading the review from Space Spiff. Yes, I still read reviews. I guess I'm old school that way. And this game, basically, you are treasure hunting through this haunted house, and there's ghosts or specters that are coming out and hurting your advances on your treasure hunting. What I remember from the review is that the game is very abstracted in the haunted house theme of games, but he said that there was more tension from this abstracted haunted house game than in lots of your typical horror themed games. The whole idea of it being this like very tense horror themed game, even if it is abstracted. I'm really, really excited about it. Number 4, Spectral. So number 3 for me kept popping up in ads across Board Game Geek and Facebook for me. And I immediately recognized that the artwork was Ian O'Toole because I adore his artwork. And the theme seemed really cool. This title of the game is Galactic Cruise, and you're basically running a cruise spaceship. And I don't know much more than that. I'm already excited about it. The theme seems so cool. The artworks and iconography of the pictures that I've seen is great. It's Ian O'Toole, typical Ian O'Toole style. And then I believe, if I remember correctly, maybe I just made this up in my head because I want it to be this way, but I think I remember Jeff from Foster the Meeple saying that he's played the game and really, really, really enjoyed it. But I know he's mentioned it multiple times, and every time he mentions it on Foster the Meeple, you should check out their channel. I get more and more excited about the game. So number 3, Galactic Cruise. So my number 2 is another Fort Circle game. This is the second time they've appeared on my list. And that is First Monday in October by new designer Talia Rosen. Now, strangely enough, well, not strangely enough, but she commented on a geek list that I put this game on before. And I found out that she went to Columbia at around the same time I did. And she created a board game club out there, which I wish I knew about because I would have joined it. I might have met her in person then. Small world. Would have been a small world. I didn't end up meeting her, but she seems really, really awesome, and I'm super excited for this game. Basically, you're playing, according to the little tagline, you're playing the history of the Supreme Court in an afternoon. Now, my number 1 game of 2023 is Mr. President by Gene Billingsley from GMT Games, which is the epic game where you emulate being president of the United States. And I have realized I really, really like history-themed games, or at least the idea of them, and political-themed games. So that going together with Fort Circle games is why First Monday in October is my number 2 game. Super excited about it. I hope it comes out in 2024. So my number 1 game I'm looking forward to in 2024 that I already haven't put money into purchasing is Mistwind by Adrian Adamescu and Daryl Andrews, who work together on Sagrada, and published by First Fish Games. Artist is Gordon Oscar. And if you want to know more about this game, I know I watched videos by Board Game Co. and John Gets Games on it, and I rarely regret not backing a Kickstarter, but this one I actually regret. I should have gone in on this one. It is a pick up and deliver game where you're picking up cargo with these flying whales. Man, oh man, oh man, I wish I went in on it. It just seems so cool. The videos were great of it. Everything looks great about it. All the mechanisms look awesome. And I'm just super, super excited about it. I am most likely going to pick this up in retail. And that is my number 1 game that I'm looking forward to in 2024, Mistwind. Woohoo! That is it. Those are my games of 2024. Thank you for listening. I'm super excited to do more videos. And that is it. Peace. Stay cool.